When it comes to this generation's artist, a name that you've definitely heard of is Donald Glover. Donald Glover is an actor, comedian, writer, director, rapper, and DJ. He has done a very phenomenal job with each profession that he has tackled. He is so good at all the stuff he tries, I wouldn't be surprised if he just announced one day that he discovered the cure for cancer. Everyone knows who Donald Glover is, and rightfully so. But I feel like there's a very talented artist who doesn't get nearly enough recognition that he deserves. Bo Burnham is one of the greatest artists of our time. Now, if you've clicked on this video not recognizing that name, I can guarantee you that you've at least seen one of his viral vines. Now, before you roll your eyes and click off this video because I mentioned Vine, which I agree was just YouTube for people with lower attention spans, don't worry, Bo was part of the 1% of content creators that actually had something clever to say.
I'm gonna change this car from red to black. Did it work?
Yeah, this is Bo Burnham. Bo was one of the original YouTube stars, and he took his career to amazing heights. He was a songwriter who would sing songs that are a commentary on subjects of corporations taking advantage of young girls' low self-esteem by using male pop icons, commentary on religion, the death of art, and even mimicking that one Kanye West rant, but instead of complaining, Bo sung about minuscule problems to be a metaphor for his depression. All of Bo's songs can sound like just silly fun songs, but they all have depth to them. And that clever depth of thinking is shown wonderfully in Bo's stand-up specials. On YouTube right now, you can watch his stand-up special simply named What? It's an hour-long special that excellently shows the outside of the box thinking that Bo is capable of. Not only does he incorporate his music into his performance, but he also incorporates the lighting, sound effects.
I've been looking for you for quite a long time.
And even his clothes. The second stand-up special that Bo did, named Make Happy, unfortunately isn't on YouTube, but it is on Netflix. Make Happy is still brilliantly comedic and is more personal. Now obviously I would recommend checking out Bo's specials and his YouTube channel, but I also would recommend the H3H3 podcast that he was on. In the podcast, Bo talks about how he had major anxiety and often would have panic attacks before going on stage. I even found a performance he did where he visually was anxious and was clearly rushing to get off. I'm telling you this because most great artists are depressed or have anxiety. It's sad, but it's true. What most artists do is that they convey their feelings through their art. But for Bo, it wasn't that easy to convey exactly what it was that he was feeling when he was growing into this icon. That feeling, that difficulty of expressing yourself, is what made his film 8th Grade so damn good. 8th Grade is a film written and directed by Bo Burnham, and his first debut as a filmmaker is very impressive. What makes 8th Grade so special is that it's not written as if teenagers are this foreign concept. Bo does an excellent job portraying what it's like to be a kid growing up in this day and age. There was no compromise in this film either. These 13-year-olds swear, they're interested in sex, and they make really cringy jokes. So many other writers, when they write like meme humor in their movies, that's the joke. And that in itself is so cringy, but 8th Grade is self-aware of how cringy it is. And it pains me that there are comments on the YouTube trailer for this film that don't understand that that's what Bo was going for. Bo may have done an excellent job writing and directing, but this film could have easily fallen apart if the acting wasn't great. Just like the kids from Stranger Things, our lead actress Elsie Fisher proves that yes, there are good kid actors out there. Bo accurately wrote the character of Kayla as how an actual kid her age would talk. The big studio heads producing like high school coming of age stories not only would have casted a 25-year-old as a freshman in high school, but they also would have wrote the character as if they're somehow very articulate. Most kids don't know how to talk, and 8th Grade nails that aspect. Elsie Fisher delivering her dialogue says a bunch of ums, like how a normal kid would talk. It sounds completely natural because she did a really great job. Credit to the other kid actors as well because they were also really good. Current social media is a major theme in this film, and thank God A24 got the rights to actually use Instagram and Snapchat. Side note, films that use made-up social media platforms for their movie is really, really dumb. Now, even though Kayla is definitely a teen of this generation, it's not like a 40-year-old couldn't go see this movie and then not be able to relate to her. Kayla's anxiety, fake confidence and feeling of growing up is universal. This film is also arguably the funniest film I've seen all year, but to be fair, that might just be because I'm a huge fan of Bo's comedy. Without spoiling, there's this one scene that happens later on in the film that had me very worried. Kayla is confronted with a very pressuring situation, and I was worried that the story was about to take a really major dark turn. Thankfully, Bo knows when to have restraint, and he didn't compromise the overall narrative of his film to be shocking. The whole scene just continued, and though I was anxious, and most of the audience was, it didn't go too far, is basically what I'm saying. 8th grade can go from awkward, to hilarious, to serious, to very touching. And of course, the film isn't perfect. I felt that the electronic soundtrack was a bit overused, and with how creative Bo is, I would have hoped for some better camera work, but for what this film accomplishes, should be celebrated. Since Bo didn't compromise in capturing the raw portrayal of how 13-year-olds actually are, the MPAA made the film rated R, which is a huge blow for the demographic that this film is about. Listen, this film should be seen by 8th graders. They could take a lot away from this film. If you have any interest in seeing 8th grade, get a group of friends, especially a group that you went to like middle school or high school with. You'll have a great time and definitely have something to talk about after. 8th grade is one of the best coming-of-age stories to be made this generation, because simply put, it only could have been made by Bo Burnham.